Welcome to Backstage with Becca with special guest, Carly Augenstein. Hi everyone, and welcome to this episode of Backstage with Becca. On this episode, this Syracuse University graduate has written her own one-act play called Post Comment, worked with Upright Citizens Brigade, toured with TheaterWorks productions of the Civil War and Anne of Green Gables, and is currently the Alphabet standby on the national tour of Wicked. Please welcome Carly Augenstein. Hi. Oh, I love the tree in the background.
Thank you. My little office tree.
Oh my goodness, it's so cute. The little bow on top.
I know. She's a gift.
My goodness. I'm just so excited for Christmas next week.
Christmas is my absolute favorite. So I go hard for Christmas.
Yeah, I'm such a holiday person.
And you're wearing a Christmassy sweater too.
It's like Christmassy, wickedy. Yeah.
It's perfect. It's both worlds. You're a child of both worlds.
I am, yeah. Yes, not to brag, but yes. So I'm so excited to talk with you today.
Me too. I'm so excited to talk to you.
Yeah, especially after seeing you as Alpha on like 2 Sundays ago.
Yeah, that sounds right.
That was an experience. You are incredible, which I'm going to talk about later.
Thank you.
But I want to get started first of all with like, how are you? How has your time in LA been with the tour?
I'm so good. I live in LA. I don't know if you knew that, but I normally live here. Yeah, so I'm just at my house and going to work at night, and it's like the dream job and the dream schedule, and it's the holidays. It's like I can't believe my luck that life worked out this way. It's so cool.
Oh my gosh, that's so amazing. So like friends and family get to come see you during the holiday season too.
Yeah, it's unreal. And a lot of my family actually lives in San Diego, so they're going to be able to come see it here and then go see it when we're down there in February.
Oh, I love San Diego.
Me too. Can't wait.
Gorgeous there.
Yeah.
So I want to know, have you always known you wanted to be a theater performer? And like, when was the moment that you kind of like fell in love with all of that?
Yeah, I've known since I was like 10 years old. I like randomly auditioned for this play that was being put up at my local YMCA, and it was a production of Alice in Wonderland, but I like was so little and had never done anything. And the director, Julia, who I ended up like doing community theater with for years and years after, she was like, we're going to make you one of the Queen of Hearts children. You're going to have one line. And I was like, amazing. This is so cool. And I came to every single rehearsal, even though I just had the one line in the show. And I just wanted to like be around actors and like watch the whole process and just vibe and be there and learn. And so the next year, we have this really beautiful theater in my hometown called the Palace Theater in Marion, Ohio. It's like this gorgeous old theater. Quick tangent, the architect, his name is John Eberson. He designs these beautiful theaters that are all over the country, and you look like you're in an outdoor, like magical courtyard.
Oh my gosh.
So anywho, such a long tangent, but
I love that.
Yeah, but that's where we would do community theater shows, and we have like a surprisingly big community theater scene for such a small town. So the next year they were doing Annie, and I was like, I want to be an orphan. Like I got my sights set on being Pepper, like she's the sassy, funny one. And then I ended up getting Annie, and I was like, oh, okay, sure, I'll be Annie. I'll be the star of your play. And I was just like, I have to do this forever. I have to find a way.
I saw an Annie picture on your website.
Mm-hmm.
The whole bio page on your website is golden.
Thank you. Lots of old pics, lots of like embarrassing coming of age theater productions.
So good. And I'm like, I bet the tickets aren't on sale anymore.
Yeah, I love that. It's like tickets still on sale and it's like year 2000.
Annie was like my childhood favorite. I was head over heels. My poor friends had to watch the movies over and over again.
And all the different movies are so good. Like there's just so much good Annie out there.
Yeah, people ask me to pick between the Disney one and I think it's 1982 one, and I'm like,
Mhm.
I love both of them. I like the dancing
Yeah.
one in 1982, and then I like
Hmm.
the Disney so much
Yeah.
too.
Same.
Like,
And then the live one they did, Nicole Scherzinger like kicking her face. I was like,
oh my gosh, insane.
yeah.
They do so good putting on these productions of Annie, and like the
I
one
know.
happening right now in New York. Come
Yeah,
on.
I have a friend in that. He plays President Roosevelt. Shout out Mark
Yeah,
Warner.
love that. Love that. So I want to ask, do you remember the first like professional theater show you ever saw?
Ooh, it was probably something that came through to the theater in my hometown, the Palace. Gosh, it might have been. I remember seeing a production of Fiddler on the Roof come through when I was really little, and um, and then like, so my hometown's like an hour outside of Columbus, which is a major city in
Yeah.
Ohio. So I remember my grandma taking me to see Phantom on tour when it came to Columbus, and I just was like, I didn't know musicals could be like this. Like I didn't know that these stories could be told on stage. This is so cool.
Yeah. Phantom like makes your jaw drop.
Oh, I love Phantom so much. Oh my God.
It's
Would die
insane.
to be in Phantom one day. But now I'm like too old to be Christine. So I'm like, could I be Carlotta?
Manifest. Put it out
Yeah,
into the universe
putting it out there.
to be in Phantom one day. Any
Yes.
role.
I'll be the Phantom. Let me be the Phantom.
Yes. So I saw on your website too that you play like a ton of instruments. Like I feel like almost every instrument in the book.
No, well,
No.
it's funny. I like I sort of play a lot of instruments. Like I am not really a virtuoso at any of them, but I can like learn a song on them. Um which is fun. Actually, this is like my home office, so I have some of my instruments around, but let me see if I can grab this. My
Yeah.
theremin.
Yes.
Okay. I might like I'm knocking so many things down. But this is like one of my coolest
Stop.
things.
That's so epic.
Yeah, it's a synth. So it's not like a classic theremin, which is just like a wire. So
Whoa.
like this controls the volume over here, and then this controls the pitch by how close or how far you get to it. It's pretty wacky.
Do you like produce on your own music wise kind
I have a little bit in the past. I've done like some covers and produced them on my own in using Logic.
of?
But again, I'm not like a master at it. It's a very jack of all trades, master of none situation.
I mean, that kind of gets into my next question is like growing up, how did you become a well-rounded performer? Like did you just explore everything?
Kind of, yeah. I was have a lot of credit is owed to my parents because they were very much like, sure, whatever you want to try. Like I would say, I want to learn guitar. My mom would say, okay, let's get you in some lessons. And then if I wouldn't practice and I would be slacking off, she's like, all right, we're not going to do this anymore. You have to dedicate yourself if we're going to spend money on this and like help support you. But they just let me try a bunch of stuff.
Yeah,
Just
that's
amazing.
amazing.
Yeah. And there is like a random ton of support for the arts in my small Ohio town, or at least there was. There still is, but
I,
there very much was when I was a kid.
I mean, I feel like a lot of people hear Ohio and they think like Glee, or at least I do.
Oh, yeah. I feel like I kind of missed the Glee train. It was becoming popular when I was like maybe a senior in high school, and I was like, this I can't watch this. Like this is not what real life is like.
Right. Wait, did you not watch High School Musical either?
No, I'm like slightly too old to have been like deep into that world. That came out, I think I was in college at that point, and I was like, oh, I can't do that. But my sister, we're 7 years apart, and
Oh,
that's like her prime time.
yes. Oh my gosh, absolutely. It's like, no, it's not real, but it's so fun.
Yeah, so outrageous. And now like I'll watch clips from Glee and I'm like, this show is crazy and so campy and so funny. Maybe I should give it another chance.
Campy, yes.
Yeah.
Very campy. It's on like every streaming platform now. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on. But
It's everywhere.
I literally. So I also saw a lot about like comedy shows in your bio on your website, and that
Yeah.
you like write your own songs too for some of these shows.
Yeah.
When did you start songwriting, and how do you like come up? What's your process for writing?
Mhm. Um, I always wrote like stupid little funny little songs as a kid. They'd pop in my head and I'd write them down and perform them like for my friends or for my parents. Be like, look, listen to this dumb thing I just came up with. I remember like, okay, I'm really gonna age myself, but Getting Jiggy with It by Will Smith was
Okay.
very popular when I was a kid. And so I wrote a parody called Getting Farty with It. And I was like, this is the pinnacle of comedy. And it was just like fart joke after fart joke. And again, my parents would be like, ha ha ha, good job, like very supportive. But then in college, I really started not getting serious, but like having more fun writing silly, goofy songs. And because I was in a theater program, I had all these people that were like, oh, I'll help you make the video. I'll sing with you. Like, let's perform it here. And I kept doing that. I sort of kept doing that at post-college. I took a lot of UCB classes and wrote a lot of sketches and was performing there for years. I haven't done it in a few years. I've kind of like lost track of that part of my creative side, but I don't know. It'll take something to just like, if an idea pops in my head, I'll write it down and be like, okay, I have to get this out.
Yes.
They usually just come in bursts.
I mean, and probably at like 3 a.m.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
when
Yeah,
you're trying to fall asleep, and it's
exactly.
like, oh, wait, actually have to go write this down before.
Yeah, the middle of the night is when the voices won't turn off.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's a problem.
And then you grab your phone and like jot it down, but the bright lights of your phone are like, guess what? You're gonna be awake for 2 more hours because you looked at the blue light.
Yes, and then you're like, have to go check what's going on in every social media platform, even though it's 3 a.m. and no one's online.
Yep. Never
It's
ends.
just the way it goes. I also I've heard a lot about how like comedy helps with acting, because comedy is like one of the hardest skills to come by.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think being in like comedy shows and doing stuff with Upright Citizens Brigade
Yeah.
has helped you when it comes to theater and acting?
Ooh, that's such a good question. Because I think that when you're doing comedy, you really have to listen to your scene partner and you have to be aware of the circumstances around you, because if you take your eye off the ball for a second, it totally destroys the timing and like what you've built so far in the scene. It's like if you've been working on heightening something until it's really funny, if you stumble along the way, it can mess up the joke. So I think in like a dramatic scene or just a play or a musical, if you're there and you're listening to the people on stage with you, you're ready for anything. And so even if they like, maybe they're not handing you a joke or something funny, but they're handing you a real moment in a scene, and you have no choice but to kind of take that and react how you naturally would in the moment without like second guessing it or being in your head. It just keeps you like, it keeps things moving, I think.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And I think like reading your bio about like how much comedy you've done, I was like, well, it's no wonder she's so good at developing the storyline in Wicked when she's on his alpha.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
Which again, I'm gonna get into in a second. But but before I get into that, I want to talk about you've done TheaterWorks touring productions
Mm-hmm.
of the Civil War and A Christmas Carol. And I would ask,
Uh-huh.
what did you learn through those projects that helped you when it comes to touring with Wicked?
Ooh, yeah. I think if I hadn't done those TheaterWorks tours, I don't think I would appreciate this tour nearly as much because they're very, very different experiences. And I mean, TheaterWorks is amazing. It's how I got my equity card. I learned so much. And TheaterWorks tours are so tough because you are the cast, but you're also the crew. You're loading in your set, you're building it, you're spiking out the stage. Sometimes your dressing room is like a boiler room in a middle school. Sometimes you're lucky enough to be in a theater and have like a real stage and real dressing room. Sometimes you're in a school cafeteria. It's just like you see it all, and you're with such a small company. I think when I did Civil War, there were 5 actors and 1 stage manager. And so we had like the truck with our set in it, and usually our stage manager would drive that, and then one person would sit with him in the car and the rest of us would be in just a company car. And so we really had to learn how to be around each other constantly without driving each other crazy. I was also the only girl on the tour. I was with 5 men, so I was like always alone in a hotel room. So that got isolating, which I think really helps with Wicked too, because standby can be a really isolating contract. So yeah, I just like cut my teeth out on the road, going to these small cities, these small theater spaces. And it got me my equity card. So thanks, TheaterWorks.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you get to bring theater to different audiences than like these big tours go on.
Yeah.
Get to introduce some kid who's never seen Wicked or like these big national tours come through the
Yes.
city to a show.
Totally. That's one of my favorite things about touring is kids seeing these shows for the first time. Maybe it's their first show ever that they've ever seen. And I just love, like, especially at the stage door after, hearing from kids, like what they thought of the show, how some of them are doing theater at their school, and they're like, they ask for advice, and it's just so cool. Because when I was a kid, I was way too shy to ask for advice. I would never have I would have been like, oh, I can't go to the stage door and ask them questions. I love that they're brave enough to be like, hey, theater person, what do I do? Yeah.
They're so like they know how to make conversation, kids these days.
Yeah.
Ask they're
So
bold.
impressed. I'm so impressed. I was not like that as a kid.
I feel like it has a lot to do with like the social media generation and like
Mm.
TikTok and all of that.
Yeah.
They have their phones and they're like out doing little dances all the time, and they're just like really bold.
They're like adults, much more than
Oh my
I
God.
was as a kid.
Yes, and I'm like, wait, I don't think I was doing any of this as
Yeah.
a kid. I could never.
No, and I'm so glad that TikTok did not exist when I was a kid, because I think about like the content I would have made. Oh no.
I mean, some of the content anyways from like Facebook and stuff, when you look back, it's like,
Yeah. Ooh, what was
yeah.
I going for?
But before I get into Wicked, again, also saw workshops on your resume for shows like Anne of Green Gables and Sweetwater. What is it like getting to be part of beginning stages of shows and develop characters?
It's so cool. I love doing it, and I jump at every chance I can get. If somebody's like, "Hey, I'm working on something new. Do you want to learn these songs and come sing them, or like be on a concept album?" It's the funnest thing for me, because it's something that nobody has seen yet and nobody knows about, and you are one of the first people to hear the music, and especially if it's something so good like both of those shows.
Oh my gosh,
Like,
I listened.
oh my God, like I can't wait to see where they go next. Especially, I mean, Anne of Green Gables is blowing up. They had their run at the good speed. I'm like, go to Broadway, please. Broadway needs to see.
Yes.
Yeah. And
Oh
I've
my
met
gosh.
some like really, really cool people doing these workshops, doing these like album recordings. And yeah, it's the people, it's like the ground floor newness of everything. And also just I love learning music. Like, I love getting sheet music and being like, all right, let me get my eyes on this and get it in my body.
And I love that you like show it off on your website too. Like you're like, here's some music from the shows.
Totally. I'm like, the world needs to hear these amazing songs.
Also, you sound so good on them.
Oh,
So
thank you. Thank you. Wow.
literally, I was like, oh, these are really good. When
Thanks. I'm
when
sure
am I gonna do these?
the production made it sound good. It was all the production.
Oh no. I think it's multiple things. It's a team of people making it
Yeah.
sound
Yeah.
good. Yeah. It doesn't sound good unless everyone involved helps.
Totally. Exactly.
So I want to get to Wicked. What was your audition process like for the national tour of Wicked? Where
Ooh,
you're a standby for Alphaba right now.
yes. It was a wild experience. I first went in, oh God, I'm gonna get my years all mixed up, but I went in 2022, like October or November-ish. They were in LA doing like, I'm pretty sure it was like a file builder audition because I
Okay.
don't think any Alphaba tracks were up yet. Um, but a friend of mine at Telsey was like, "Hey, you have an appointment to go like sing Elphaba stuff for Wicked." I was like, "What? Elphaba?" Because I've like always thought of myself as a Glinda because I'm a soprano. I've like done comedy my whole life. And like when I first saw the show when I was in high school, I was like, oh my God, Glinda's where it's at. That's what I want to be so bad. One day I'm gonna be Glinda. And my friend was like, listen, just like, I really think they're gonna see you as more of an alphabet. It's just like, trust me. I was like, okay, whatever. And I was just thinking, like, there's no way in hell I'm ever gonna book this. So I'm just gonna like learn this alphabet packet. And if it's the only time I ever sing these songs in front of people, then great. Like, I'm just gonna do my best and see what happens. And so I went in, it was in LA at the Third Street Dance Studio where like so
Yeah,
much
yeah.
has happened there. Um, and I like sang, they were like, ready, want to do Defying Gravity first? I was like, okay. And
Started with the big
so,
one.
yeah, it was Defying Gravity. It was I'm Not That Girl. And it was Wizard and I. So, just like two of the hardest songs and then like one like super acty song. And
Right. No big deal.
yeah, I sang my songs and then like did the scenes. And this was for, I forget who was in the room at first, but I got a call back for later in the week. And I originally went in for the alphabet understudy ensemble track for Pink Beret. And I was like, oh my
Oh.
God, this is so cool. Like, oh, this would be an amazing job. And then for my callback, it had changed and it just said alphabet. And I was like, what the hell? And then like Lisa was in the room, Lisa Leguio, and she like worked with me a ton. I was in there for like 45 minutes at my callback. And like I was like, I think that like they like me a lot. And so I went in a total of 3 times that week and they they weren't looking for an alphabet. So I was like, I don't know what's gonna happen. And a year went by. I was just like, well, I did that. It was really cool. It was really fun. But they came back like around the same time the next year. They called me in. I had just gotten over COVID. Um,
Oh my god.
and I was like, oh, this is gonna be fun. But I went in, I don't even think I sang all the songs or did both scenes because Lisa had already seen, I think, what she needed to
Yeah.
see. She was like, great to see you, thanks. And then a couple months go by, I don't hear anything. And then all of a sudden, my agent's like, hey, you booked it. You booked Elphaba Standby. I was like,
You're like, what?
holy crap. Like, I could not believe it. I was
That's
floored.
that's insane. And to not even like think about auditioning for Alphaba before that.
I
To be like,
never
I'm a Glinda before that.
I never thought because like I also am like weirdly self-conscious about my speaking voice. I feel like it's high. I feel like I was like, oh, well, I could never sing the last note if I'm not that girl. And then they're like, you don't have to. Like,
No, you
yeah,
make it. Yeah, that's what like people like hearing different versions and
yeah,
different people play. Yeah.
yeah. I remember Evan Reuter, who was our music director, who left a couple months ago. He was in the room during my callbacks, and he was like, you don't have to try to sing that last note. Just go up the octave. I was like, really?
Like,
It
okay.
blew my mind. It's like, maybe I can do this.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I feel like it's like doing the low note is awesome, but also just like having different, like hearing it different ways
Yeah.
is also just
It's fun. And like, you'll never hear me sing that low note. It's not in my range. It's just
listen.
unless
What?
I'm really sick. If I'm really sick, I can hit it.
Yeah.
I won't be performing if I'm really sick.
Okay, so I have an important question. Do you remember who your first Elphaba and Glinda were in Wicked?
Yes,
Okay.
I do. I saw the show in Toronto back in 2005. The national tour had just hit the road, and so it was Stephanie J. Block and Kendra Cassabaum,
Oh my gosh.
legends.
Icons.
Yeah. And like we were so obsessed with the soundtrack in high school. We blasted it every single day from our cars on the way to school. And I remember seeing it with actresses who weren't on the soundtrack. And I was like, oh my God, there's so much more. Like they're bringing something totally different to this, which I think people, that's part of why the show has stayed so successful for so long, because it's like the witches are like Pokemon that you collect. You're like, oh, have you seen it with this person? Have you heard it with this person? Have you seen this slime tutorial with this person? Like it's different every time. It's so
Oh
cool.
my gosh. That's such a good way to put it though, like Pokemon.
Yeah.
Because I feel like a lot of people like make sheets and stuff to like keep track of who they've seen in
I
the
love
show.
that. Wait,
It's
I didn't know that people did that.
Yeah, like I've seen it all over social media, and
That's
they like
wild.
make like little like Excel sheets of who they see in the show.
Wait, I also feel like this moment right now is we're having that same moment from the Cynthia Ariana interview where she's like, I didn't know people are doing that. I didn't know people are doing that. And you're like, I've seen it. I've seen it online.
Yes, no, it's
We're holding space for
right, right,
interview right now.
exactly.
Mhm.
No, it's amazing, and that like I love the movie. I thought it was like such a great musical adaptation, like such a great movie adaptation of the musical.
Same.
But it's just seeing it on
Mhm.
stage and seeing different people in it is gonna
Yeah,
be my favorite always.
me too. And like, I also love like when a different understudy or cover is on. It's like
So yes.
it's so cool. Like I last week or 2 weeks ago was the first time I got to be on with Maddie Parks as Glinda. And I was just like, oh, this is so exciting. I had like been wanting to go on with her for so long because we had done it like really just in rehearsals, or like somebody would come in for their put in and like we'd be the witches for their put in. And I'm like, I want to do this for real with you. And it was really special.
Yeah, you get to see like how your voices match on stage.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
It's so cool. It's so cool. And like getting to do it with Ulshin, like her Glinda's crazy, doing it with different Fieros. It's like, I love it.
Oh my gosh. I mean, and this cast is so like insanely talented right now.
It's unbelievable how good everyone is. I just am in awe of everyone every single day. And
Oh my
Lauren too, like just like being like backstage in my dressing room, listening to Lauren on the monitor, I'm like, oh my God, so good.
You're like, I can't believe I get to hear this for free.
I know, like people are paying top dollar for this, and I just like get to enjoy it every single day.
Yes. So I wanna, when you're brought in as a standby, how does the rehearsal process work for you?
Very good question. Because I didn't really know what to expect. So I came in like maybe 2 or 3 weeks after the whole new principal cast came in. So they came in, they did all their rehearsals together and like formed their own bond. And then I was like, hi, I'm here now. And so I learned the show from our PSM at the time, Evan Ensign, who's very, very sweet and patient and kind, and also from our dance captains, Kelly and Ben. They both played like every single other character during our rehearsals.
Yeah.
And then I'd have rehearsals with Evan, our former music director, where we just go over the music, and he'd be like, "Okay, these are the riffs you're allowed to do. Here's the ones you're not allowed to do. Here's the ones that are banned forever." I'm like, "Oh man, darn." But yeah, it was just like piecing together like doing things separately at first, the blocking and the music, and then like adding them together slowly, and then like now we're gonna like really try to act through the scene. And it was funky and wild. A lot of like rehearsal rooms. Sometimes we'd get to rehearse on the stage. And I also just a lot of like me in my hotel room after rehearsal, just like I put sticky notes down on my floor with the numbers and
Oh,
like the cogs marked out. So I was like, okay, I can like I go to 6 during this part and I go to 10 here, and just like drilling a lot on my own time because I
oh
just
my gosh.
wanted to be ready, you know. I didn't want to let anybody down.
Well, the people cleaning up the hotel rooms are like, what is this thing?
Why are there sticky notes all over the floor?
What is going on? Hey, and the person next door also gets a free show.
Yeah, they sure do. They sure do. I remember in one city, one of our amazing people in the hair department, Desi, was like, I think I'm in the room next to you because I hear Wizard and I every morning. I'm like, yeah, sorry. She's like, don't be sorry, it's
Yeah,
great.
no, don't be sorry. It's a good wake up call.
Yeah, I'm really glad nobody's like complained at a hotel that we've stayed at, like room 402 is like singing all day long.
No. If I was in the room, maybe. If I was trying
Yeah.
to, then maybe. But
Maybe,
like,
yeah, I get it.
yeah. My dog like runs away when I try to
Oh
sing
yeah.
songs in front. She's like,
My
huh?
my cats do not like when I sing. They're like
Yeah, my
they're
dog's like,
horrified by it.
what are you doing?
Their
Like
ears go like
that's my dog Angel. She's like,
oh
Mom, no, no,
mom, mom, what's that?
no. Like stop.
Oh mom.
Passion. So, when was the first time you went on for Alphaba, and how did you
Mhm.
prepare for that day?
Um my my debut was July 20th,
And I
um,
think you
which was in Toronto, which was also really cool because that's where I saw the show for the first time. So it was very, very cool, very special.
definitely
Um, but I think it had been 2 months since I had finished rehearsals and I had never been on because Lauren is like a powerhouse, amazing. And
Hey.
I was like, dang, like maybe I'm just getting paid to like do crafts backstage, which is great. But I would like run the show a lot. If I had my own dressing room or if the theater had a separate rehearsal space, I would just like listen to the monitor, crank the monitor up and just do the show, like run around and do the blocking and sing everything full out. And I would do that like twice, 2 or 3 times a week. Because I follow Emily Kristen Morris, the former
Oh, yeah.
standby, and she made videos about that. I was like, okay, I'm gonna do what she did. Um,
Yes.
which like thank you, Emily Kristen Morris, for making those
Yeah.
videos. I watched them all to prepare. I'm like, how does she survive? How does she do it? And then I that day I was just like, all right, it's go time. Everybody says like you're gonna black out and you're not gonna really remember what happened. So I remember just like trying to breathe and stay in my body and just like focus on the story, use the actors around me as anchors and just tell the story. And I think that it went pretty well. I remember like we got to bows and I was standing there with Austin like before Elphaba and Glinda run out, and she was like, you're so calm. Like I'm I can't believe how calm you are. And I was like, yeah, I can't believe it either. What?
You're like, I don't know if I am or not.
I don't know what I'm feeling. I don't, yeah. And it just like, and like feeling that wave of tiredness hit you like a truck after doing the
Yes.
show. I was like, whoa, Elphaba's hard.
Oh my gosh, I can imagine because you're like running around in circles when you're not
Yeah.
on stage.
It's a lot. And I've been lucky enough to be able to like go on a ton since then and build my stamina up. So I'm not as wrecked after, but I was just like, holy shit, this is a lot. But
Oh
it's
my
also
god.
so cool.
Well, I have asthma and I don't think I could ever do
Mhm.
the running around backstage part of that. I think I would just like pass out and die.
Oh my God. Yeah. Like the backstage running is another thing. Like That was the hardest thing for me to learn and get used to, actually, was like the whole backstage, where the changes are happening, where I go, who I hand the broom to, who I do this, that, like, and
Oh my gosh.
one of our props guys, Kyle, said that like right after No Good Deed, I like totally spaced and I was like, I have no idea where I'm going right now. I don't know what I'm supposed to do before I like while Witch Hunters is happening. So he said I was just running around like with the cape just going like, and so now every time like whenever he sees me, he's like, hey,
You're like, just stop mocking me.
but me, he's like, I'm gonna do this forever.
But the important question is, did you remember to breathe during the first performance?
I did. I did.
You're
I
like,
did remember to breathe. Yeah. Somehow.
yes, love that for you.
I forgot many other things. I dropped lines here and there, but I did breathe.
Hey, listen, as I was saying, theater people like different things.
Yeah.
People have come and seen the show and we're like, oh yay, I'm getting a different version.
Yeah. Wow, she shortened this scene by like cutting over a couple lines. Cool.
Wow. And I also curious because as I mentioned, I saw you as Alphaba 2 Sundays ago at the evening show, and you really develop Alphaba's storyline very well. How did you go about making the character of Alphaba your own and going through the choices to develop her
Mhm.
storyline differently than I've seen in the past,
Oh, cool. Well,
honestly?
that's such a nice compliment. Thank you. Um, I don't know if it was like a conscious thing of that. I feel like that's just kind of how it's shaken out as I continue to go on and like find what my alphabet is. But I did know going in, I was like, Elphaba's hilarious. I want to make sure that like people know that she's funny. And because I like that's something I latch onto as a performer, just the comedy of it all. I'm like, okay, like my alphabets, I really want her to be funny because that's I think that's how she has dealt with her life, which is also how I've dealt with my life. Like anything horrible, tragic that's happened in my life, I deal with it with humor. And I was like, well, I can bring that to Alphaba. I feel like we're similar in that way. And I don't know, I feel like because I'm in my 30s, I feel like Act Two Elphaba almost comes a little bit easier because she's lived a little bit more. I was like, okay, now I can kind of like act my age a little bit. Um, and I don't know, I think another thing that I thought about is that she really just wants to be loved. She wants friendship and she wants love, and she doesn't admit it to herself or anybody else. But I think deep down, that's what she needs from people and what she really wants from people. And so, like, when that's what like popular is like my favorite scene to do in the whole show because it's just like this person is showing kindness to her for the first time. And I love the line where Glinda's like, that's that's not your fault. That's the milk flower's fault. Like nobody's ever said that to
Tell her,
Elphaba before.
yeah.
And I just like it's so shocking for her to hear that and for someone to like see her. And it's so powerful and so cool. And then like even Fierro too, like their little moments together in Act One, like
Yes.
he sees her. He's like, even when he says maybe the driver saw green and thought it meant go, he's not like, get out of my sight, you
Yeah.
nasty green ugly person. He's just like, you're green. Here's a funny joke about it. And she's like, wait, that's like a joke I would make.
Right.
What? I don't know what to do with you, so I'm just gonna walk away.
Yeah, like
Um,
this is weird.
yeah, and so just and like that's why also why it's so heartbreaking in Act Two when she tries to get Nessa to like ride with her, and Nessa's like, no, I'm so done with you. It's just heartbreaking because she loves her sister and it's like the one person she thought would always love her back. It's just off the deep end.
Yep. Yes, exactly. And I feel like so what really I was like, whoa, this is like different than I've seen it before. Was like your Wizard and I, and the whole act one was like substantial growth from the Wizard and I to Defying Gravity. Because I feel like the Wizard and I, you played her very like innocently too,
Mhm.
and like very like young, all everything's ahead of her, so many hopes and dreams.
Yeah.
Like, by Defying Gravity, it's like, wait, like you really see the change that has happened
Mhm.
during act one.
That's so cool. That's so cool of you to say. And yeah, I'm so happy that that comes across.
It definitely absolutely does. I was like, whoa. The
I
journey, and that's
love it.
hard, and an hour and a half, that's hard.
Thank
So
you.
like that's limited time.
Yeah, yeah, it's
Yeah.
very limited. I feel like maybe I do there is something I do think about like where I place myself vocally in those in Wizard and I versus Defying Gravity because I really want by the time we get to Defying Gravity and she realizes what's going on and that something's different, something's happening, like it kind of ages her in that moment and she
Yes,
kind of like becomes an adult. She sees how the world really is and she's like, "Oh, all
especially
right. I'm a grown woman now."
yes, especially the end as she's flying and like looking down and everything. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, such a rush.
Oh
So,
my gosh. What was your first time flying like?
oh my God, I was like, this is so fun because I love roller coasters. So I was like, this is gonna be just like a ride. And it feels like a ride. Like I'm at Disney or I'm at Universal. I'm like, woohoo!
Yeah.
It's so fun. And also, I don't know if it's always like this, but as the standby, when we get to a new city, I come in and ride in the levitator so they can set the lights. Um, and so I
Whoa.
love doing that because I'm just like in my normal street clothes, like hanging out in the levitator. And then I get to like look at the new theater that we're in and really take it all in.
Have you?
It's so cool. Like wave to the whoever's like running the two spotlights. I'm like, hey, what's up? Hey, nice to meet you.
Do you still pretend to have like the broom in your hand to go and like go and like
I don't have to do that for the lighting for whatever reason. But I do have to wear a rehearsal hat because like they have to
Oh.
see what it looks like with the lights and the hat.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh my
And we
gosh.
have this like ratty old rehearsal hat that is way too big for my head.
It's like falling.
Yeah, basically.
I, I'm also very curious because you were mentioning like riffs earlier that you can and can't do. Did you get to add any riffs that have been your favorite to hear in
Um,
the show?
I did get permission begrudgingly from Evan to go too long I've been afraid of because I guess like that wasn't one that had been I think
Ooh.
had been like maybe banned for a while. But I was really struggling with just going too long I've been afraid of because it's really low for me in my range and he was like all right, we can bump it up. That's okay. But everything else like I mean, it's all been done before. I don't think I'm adding like anything new. It's just like it kind of goes in and out of the
Yeah.
show based on who's in the roles at the time.
Do you have like a favorite riff that you've heard from someone do?
Um, oh, that's a good question. Actually, there's like a Julia Murney riff that she does in Defying Gravity because I watched her slime tutorial a lot when I first took the job. I was like, I'm gonna learn the show. I'm gonna
Yeah.
like watch as many different alphabets as I can just to kind of see what they all do. But I love Julia Murney, and she's a fellow Syracuse alum. But what does she do? She
Oh,
goes, oh, it's gonna take me a second to remember. Uh, I can't think of it.
you'll think of it like
Oh, oh, she
oh,
goes,
there we go.
instead of bring me down, she goes, bring me down. I think that's so
Oh,
cool. Like,
yes.
who'd have thought of that?
Oh my gosh. I mean, I feel like, or maybe I'm wrong because I'm not a singer, so I'm just like a theater appreciator. But maybe I'm wrong.
Mhm.
But it's like just like things that everyone's voice does uniquely adds so
Yeah.
many special things to the history of riffs in the show.
Yeah, I agree so much. And it's like, it's funny too if I'm watching like other Elphibas, like watching clips on YouTube, seeing the comments being like, oh, like she did this riff starting in like 2006. I'm like, whoa, like the lore is deep. People
But
keep track.
yeah, but it's also
So
like
cool.
you're like it's suiting the song to your voice too,
Yeah, totally. It's
which
nuts.
develops people's favorite
Yeah,
renditions of these songs, which is awesome.
totally. It's cool that they allow us some freedom to do that.
Yes. No,
It's
I
cool.
love that. I think that's what's made it be around since,
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah,
totally.
forever. Um, are you a Wizard and I, Defying Gravity, or No Good Deed girl?
I think I've become a no good deed girl.
Slay.
Yeah, I love singing that song. Like I look
Yes.
forward to it when I'm on, and I love that you just like you come running onto the stage in the tour. On
Just like
Broadway,
yelling.
they get lifted up, but like you just are like letting it rip, and
Yes.
it's like you're letting all of these emotions, all of this like shame and embarrassment and self-doubt, you're just like throwing it out and being like, this is how we're going to do this from now on. It just feels very grown up and very mature. And I didn't resonate with that song as much growing up. I was always just like, Defying Gravity is where it's at. Wizard and I, like, these are the best. And they're great. And I love singing both of those songs too. But like now, as a woman of a certain age, I'm like, this is my
Yes.
song.
Oh my gosh. It's such a powerful song, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm just
Oh,
living every night when I hear that in my seat when I'm
and
there.
you just like, you have the freedom to be witchy too. Like you can just like, I don't know,
Yes.
like you can really like feel your power and your anger. And it's,
Oh my gosh. Yes, absolutely.
yeah.
And you and act two, you get to like dive into the laugh more, which is
Oh yeah. Which I
so it's
love.
like all witchy stuff
Yeah.
in that in act two.
Act two is fun.
Oh my god. How okay, so is there like choreography that goes into the broom and the wand fight scene?
Yeah, it is kind of lightly choreographed just because like for safety, you don't want
Yes.
to be like flinging it around willy-nilly. Um, but it's like choreographed in a way that it still can look messy and in the moment, which is always what they want. Like they never want it to look too like, and now we're doing this.
Right.
Yeah.
Like that it's like all planned and all like
Yeah.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
we know where each other's about to move. Um, but we're still trying to make it look like a real struggle. So you can
I
play with it a little bit.
I feel like it's kind of like a popular scene without the song where it's like
Yeah.
you have the blocking,
Mm-hmm.
but you can change it up.
Yeah. Totally. Like as long as we're safe, you can
Yes.
pick it up. As long as like nobody's gonna get slapped for real.
Right. As long as the broom or the wand is not actually gonna hit anyone in the
Yeah.
face.
Yeah. Oh, I do love that scene. It's such like a juicy acting scene.
It's
Ooh.
so good.
Ooh.
Do you have a favorite moment that you've had on stage with a Glinda in like one of those scenes, like popular or the wand
Mhm.
and broom scene?
I actually, I love I love doing For Good with
Ooh,
all the different Glindas because
emotional.
it's so emotional and like Austin and Maddie and Alshin they bring something totally different, but it's again, it's like popular. It's like, what's this gonna be today?
Yes.
Or even just like because I've done it with Austin a ton, it's like what was today's show like? And like what are we feeling? Where did our relationship end up after this particular show? And how is it different? And how like and just like the different times where like you just feel the urge to hold hands or like grab each other's shoulder or like, or sometimes like Austin will be sobbing and I'll like wipe her tears
Oh,
and then that makes me cry. And it's just, I don't know, it's like a little gift at the end of the show. And you just get to really be with that person. And it's like, whew, we just did this whole show. And now we're just like here for each other,
yes.
singing in each other's faces.
Two best friends.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my gosh. And I mean, every time I don't know what they put in for good, but like
Oh my God. And I love hearing like people out in the audience like
the person in the front row.
I love hearing it. I'm like, yeah, we got you. We need you.
Hey. And I'm sure it's different, like the build up, like the relationship is different every night depending on the audience's reactions
Totally.
to the show, which is really fun.
Totally. Like where we end up on a rowdy Saturday night is very different than like a Saturday matinee, like where like busloads of children have just seen the show.
Oh my gosh.
It's like totally different audiences. But I love when it's a ton of kids because after As Long as You're Mine, they go wild for that. They're like, oh my God, they're kissing. Oh my God. Like they lose their minds.
Do they go wild for the Wicked part too?
Yeah, they go wild for like the slaps, they go wild for the fight. It's so good.
I bet Popular is just like can't it's just like all laughter.
Pretty much. And
Yeah.
like and I also like you kind of get to take, you don't get to take a break as Elphaba, but you're just like you're watching your Glinda just do her thing and shine and you're like, yeah, you go get those laughs.
And trying not to crack up.
Yeah, which is very difficult.
I can imagine. I can imagine. Has anything like ever made you laugh?
I think there was one night I was on with Ulshin and she like dropped into a split out of nowhere and I had to like cover my face. I was not expecting it. It's just
like why would you do this?
It was everything.
Oh my God, that's so good.
Yeah.
I want to ask what is getting green like?
Ooh, I find it very soothing. It feels nice, like the brushes feel nice. And it's just like a time to I really like to just chit chat and check in with Tish, our head makeup artist, and with Steven, our head of the hair department. I just like to like hang with them and see what their day was like, vocalize a little bit. It feels nice. It feels kind of like a spa treatment, even though my skin doesn't love it. Like the taking it off
I
is
mean,
kind of irritating. But it's fun. And then like even if I'm really tired, I'm like, oh, I don't know if I have the show in me today. Once you're fully green, you're just like, oh, let's do Wicked. Let's go do it.
You look in the mirror, you're like, okay.
I'm like, oh, Alpha, hey girl.
It's like the Glinda moment at the end of Popular. You're like, oh.
Yeah, it's like, oh, who am I? I gotta go.
Yes. So do you get green every show or
No, thankfully.
it's just like if they backstage, how would it work if they needed you during the show?
I knock on wood, I haven't had to go on mid-show ever. It's happened. It very well happened, but I hope for everyone's sakes, it seems very stressful. But they can, if they got to do the green fast, they can do it quick. Like it takes 25 minutes, but if they need to do it in 15, they can slap it on. They could do it during intermission. And yeah, they can make it happen quick if they need to.
That's wild.
It's nuts. I don't want to experience that.
No, it sounds stressful.
Yeah.
But like, also live theater, love.
Yeah. Also so cool that they can and have many times and will in the future.
Yes. What do you do backstage during the show when you're not on?
So I'm a big crafter. I have been embroidering. I've been getting into like DIY miniature doll houses, or like they're like little rooms, and you build it with like glue and tweezers. I'm making a little Christmas one right now. It's like a little Christmas living room. I made like a little witch store. Amy, our Madame Morrible, bought the kit, and she was like, my eyesight, I don't want to do this. Do you want to do it? And we were sharing a dressing room at the time, and I was like, do I?
Yes.
And I would just like sit there and build it, and she would check in and be like, okay, what did we get done today? So she actually keeps buying me more crafts
Oh my
because
gosh.
her love language is gifts. So she's always like, here's another craft I thought you would enjoy.
I was like, you're by the end of the contract, however long you're on tour, you're gonna have like your own Etsy shop.
I basically, like, I have like all my little embroideries displayed on my mirror, and like my little houses I built.
That's so cool.
It's really fun. And it keeps my mind occupied and makes the show go by fast.
Listen, I don't think I could do be successful at doing DIY stuff or
Mhm.
yeah,
Mhm.
but I love looking on Etsy for gifts and like finding personalized stuff that you can get. Like,
So
people
fun. It's
are so
so cool.
talented.
Yeah, I'm gonna start like, I have too many finished embroideries. So I'm like, if anybody in the company you want me to make something, just give me a kit and I'll make it for you.
Oh my gosh, yes. You're like, just bring me all the gifts for Christmas, like all their
Yeah,
merch.
totally. I'll make your Christmas presents for you. I'll
Yeah.
pump that out.
Oh my gosh. I mean, that's another talent. Come on. How would you convince people to come see the current national tour cast of Wicked?
Oh my gosh. We have such an incredible company right now. Just like everyone brings something totally different and totally amazing. I mean, the main principal cast, they all came in at the same time, so they have this amazing bond. Like when everybody's on, it's like such a strong show. When any of the covers are on, it's so exciting because all the covers are so good. um it's just like it's it's prime Wicked, just like chef's kiss, a great group of people. And also, like, the movie is wonderful. Come see the show too. It's all good. All Wickeds are good.
Yes, go see Act Two.
Yeah, go see how it ends.
Right. Like, no spoilers, but go see how
Yeah,
it ends.
go see what happens.
Yeah, before 2025.
Yeah, before the movie, and then go see the next movie, and then go see the show again, because why not?
Yeah, and then go make an Excel sheet
Go make an Excel sheet
with
of
everyone
the
you
people that you
need.
saw last time and all the new people that they're going to bring in, and then go see it on Broadway.
Oh my gosh. The casting team for the show is slaying because I've seen it on the tour recently now and on Broadway. And I'm,
It's bonkers.
my mind is blown.
It's absolutely nuts. And like Mary Kate, we went to college together.
Oh
We
my gosh.
Same graduating class. There's actually three of us in the same graduating class that have played Elphaba now. Mary Kate, Hannah Corneau, and myself.
I've seen all of you.
Oh my god, that's so cool.
Yeah, that's
I actually,
awesome.
my Galindified jacket was Hannah's, and so when
Oh,
I like did my costume fitting, I was like, guess what? And like sent her a picture of her little name in the jacket. It's very cool.
so cool.
And they're both like
Small world.
incredible
I mean, all of
actresses.
you. Sheesh, I'm honored.
Oh, stop.
Wow, what a small world and what a good
Um,
class. Like what a
it's
good
crazy.
school to be.
Yeah.
I feel like we're like
Something
I'm gonna be your Glinda.
me and Mary Kate, Julia Murney came and did a master class at Syracuse, and one of our teachers like assigned us songs to sing for her, and they assigned Mary Kate Wizard and I, and assigned me Popular. And so we were like, we're gonna be in the show someday. You're gonna be Elphaba, I'm gonna be Glinda. It's gonna be amazing.
Hey, you know,
And you know what? I'll
hey,
take it.
plot
I'm
twist.
not mad. Yeah, plot twist.
Major plot twist. Love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
What is one of your dream roles on stage?
Oh, Sweeney Todd's my favorite show.
Oh my god.
I would die to play any of the female characters in that show. I
Let's see
think
it.
I'm aging out of Joanna, sadly, but I would love to play Beggar Woman. I would love to be Mrs. Lovett. I would love to do a production where they have Beggar Woman also play Pirelli and sing it the octave up.
Ooh.
I've seen it done like that, and it's so cool. Like that's
Yeah.
my dream show. I'll take anything in that show.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, I could see it. I could see it. I feel
Thank you.
like your acting would be
Thanks.
very good in that. I would
Into the
my
Woods too, another dream show. Any
oh,
Sondheim show, I would be thrilled.
yes. What about like Little Night Music too?
Oh, I love that score. I would love to do
Oh,
that show.
it's like my
Ooh,
I feel like I wasn't expecting to love that show so much, but it's my
it's
probably my favorite.
beautiful. I love that show too.
It's
Oh,
so good.
I'll take it. I'll take anything. Give me a job. Come June, I'll be like, please. My contract is done. Give me a job.
Hey, hey, I want to see you on stage more. So if that helps, casting
Thank
people.
you.
I want
You
to see
heard
you
it here.
in all the roles. There's demand.
Good.
If you
I
could
will supply.
revive, oh yeah, if you could revive any musical and be in it, what would it be?
Oh. Hmm. Sheesh. That's a really good question. It'd be fun to do something classic, like Golden Age.
Ooh.
Someday I would love to play Dolly Levi.
Oh, okay.
I would love to do Hello Dolly someday. Um,
Someday in the future, yes.
yeah, in a few years. I don't know. And again, I just keep thinking of Sondheim, like a little Sunday in the Park with George would be
Oh,
cool.
yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Pasadena Playhouse did like the most amazing Sondheim season, and I was just living for it.
Oh, I would love to work for them.
Yes.
Listen, Pasadena Playhouse.
At
Hello.
Pasadena Playhouse.
I would like to work for you.
Yes. Who is someone you look up to in the theater industry?
Oh my gosh. I think like my idol of all idols is Audra McDonald.
Yes.
I saw her do her solo show in LA at
Oh my gosh.
was it like the LA Philharmonic, like their beautiful theater, and I was just in tears, like, and she's so funny, and like her banter between songs is amazing, and she
Yes.
just seems so like she's just down to earth and cool. She's
Oh
just
my
kind.
yes. It would okay. So my going back to the beginning of this conversation. So when people ask to pick my favorite Annie, I'm like, I can't pick because Audra is in the Disney one.
Yeah, I
Like
know. Like,
I can't.
just the greatest.
She's so good, and she makes me cry in the like maybe reprise
Oh my
scene.
God, yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh, her
Ah,
voice.
I want to
She
see
can do it
Gypsy
all.
so bad.
I know. I'm dying to go. I don't know if I'll be able to.
I wait, yeah. I feel like hopefully she'll be there for a bit.
I hope so too. I hope it's
Like,
like around. I hope it's still running when my contract ends. You never know. I feel like every other day it's like this Broadway show is closing. I'm like, why? No.
yes, more people go see Broadway.
Go see Broadway show.
Yes. And go to Rush. Like there's a ton of
What you
people.
can.
So how do you work on self-confidence in such a tough industry, and what advice would you give? Because you talked about giving advice to people
Mm-hmm.
earlier. What advice would you give to people who
I
want to
mean,
work in this industry?
that's a good question, and it's something I struggled with big time for many years. I mean, there was a 10-year stretch where I did not work a contract. And I just was in this like huge rut with my self-confidence. I would just like go into auditions defeated. I'd be like, they're not going to cast me. They don't know who I am. This doesn't matter. I just like the negative self-talk was so bad. And I also just was dealing with really bad anxiety and depression for many years. And it took me like finding the right therapist. And for me personally, medication helped a lot. Like I have been on antidepressants for a few years, and it changed my whole world. It just like, I would have these horrible intrusive thoughts on my way to auditions. I just would like to talk myself out of every job. I would cancel auditions. I was self-sabotaging. And it took like me really taking a good hard look at myself and being like, you have to work on what's going on with you. You have to make mental health a priority. And when I did that, it was like, oh my God, like a weight had been lifted. I was like excited to go audition and like take classes. And because of that, like I was putting myself out there more. I met more people who then would like, they knew a person who knew a person who would call me in for something or like ask me to come do a recording with them. And it's just like, I would say like, make your mental health a priority, because it's everything. It's truly is everything. And then once you do that, it's like you can just be yourself and not worry that it's not good enough, because you are good with yourself.
Yep. You're not a carbon copy of anyone. You can't be.
Yeah, you will not get anywhere like that.
Hey, and I'm glad you worked on that self-confidence too, because in the past couple of weeks, I feel like you've been a lot of people's first alpha.
Yeah, which is so cool. I will never get over that.
Oh, like that people are gonna remember that forever, because people always remember their first alpha.
Yeah, I will never ever be over that. That is the coolest thing ever.
Oh my God. Yes. I mean, there was a girl, I think, like in a little like there's like kids like who come like dressed up who are
Yeah.
like watching the show for the first time.
I love seeing people's outfits. I love how dressed up people get. I love when people come like fully green. I'm
Oh
like,
my God.
yes,
That's
cosplay. Yes.
I can't that would exhaust me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just like buying all the pink and green sweatshirts and I'm
I
like,
know.
you know,
I'll
that's
just, yeah. I'll keep buying the merch. That's cool.
oh my gosh, the little like the long sleeve black and white shirt. Love.
So cute. So cute.
Love.
There's like the Target sweater that they're always out of stock now. Like the
Oh my
shit
gosh.
sweater. I want it so bad.
Everything they're out of stock.
No.
Probably.
I know. Yeah.
Probably, I assume. I don't know. I haven't been, but I have stuff on my list. So hopefully some people have gotten a lot
I'm
of
hoping for some wicked Christmas presents from the
I
fam.
hope so. Give me
Please.
all the wicked stuff, fam.
Give me those really cool like the really cool like Volume Spa candle. I want that.
Oh, everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. It would be done by every store. It's like just like
Yeah.
wicked, 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 wicked.
It's crazy. The crazy time in the Wicked verse.
Yes. Oh my gosh. And I love that for this current cast too. I'm sure it's like changed like a lot during the
Yeah.
run of the show.
It's wacky. It's just like it's also pressure because like I feel like a lot of eyes are on us right now. So we just want to do good for all the people that maybe are new to the show and saw the movie. They're like, I want to go check out the show. It's like, okay, we gotta like really show them. We gotta be good for all these new fans.
Y'all are slaying.
Thank
like,
you.
Everyone, if you're at the Wicked movie, go see the show at Fantasia. Just like making announcements everywhere. So before I get to my last question, I want to ask, where can people follow you on social media for your future alphabet dates and to just follow your career?
Yeah, my Instagram is at Carleesi, Carleesi. It is a Game of Thrones reference.
Ooh, hey, I
Yeah.
gotta hop on that train at some point, I guess.
Oh, it's worth it. The last season, just you could skip it if you want. But
I feel like that's how a lot of shows go.
yeah, it's really good for a really long time.
Okay,
It's worth it.
the last season.
Yeah,
Noted.
yeah. Just skip.
And your website's also very awesome. I'll put
Thank you.
everything in the lower third so people can find you. And also, I want to ask, lastly, do you have anything that you would like to promote, or do you just want to tell people to come see Wicked?
Yeah, I mean I don't have really anything else going on other than other than Wicked. Wicked is life right now.
Yes.
So yeah, come see Wicked, and if you want to see me play different instruments sort of well, then follow me on my Instagram.
Yes. Oh
Yeah.
my, hey, some people can barely play one instrument. Me.
What do you play?
Nothing. Maybe piano by
Magic.
ear sometimes.
Yeah, that's something.
I
That's
used
huge.
to.
That's enough.
I,
You are enough.
hey, thank you.
You are great.
I used to play saxophone, but like
Oh, that's cool.
that
That's
was
very cool,
a
actually.
long, long time ago, like in band in high
I
school.
love it. Yeah.
And
I
like,
played flute in band.
oh, I could only do the woodwind instruments. I could not do flute to save my life.
Yeah.
It was
I found like flute was easier. I couldn't do the brass instruments. I'm like, I cannot make a sound on this trumpet.
oh my gosh. No, I couldn't do that either. I could do clarinet and saxophone, and I think the saxophone sounded prettier.
That's badass though, because reed instruments are hard.
They are. And I was like, my family was like my number one fan, and I was like, y'all, I'm not that good.
Oh,
I'm like, I promise.
that's what families are for.
Oh my gosh, it is. It is.
Aw.
Well, it was so nice talking to you
It was
today,
great talking
having
to
you
you.
on. I'm actually coming to the show tonight.
Oh my gosh, yay. Yes. Have a
Or-
great time.
yeah, I'm going out of town on the 22nd, so I'm like squeezing in.
I
It's,
love it.
I can't
Amazing.
afford. Then yeah.
I'll be thinking about you while I'm putting together my little house.
Thanks for watching this episode of Backstage with Becca B. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Becca B Talks TV. Or for more exclusive content from this interview and more, you can follow me on Instagram and Facebook at Backstage with Becca B. Make sure to subscribe to my channel and like this video. Or if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, go ahead and give me a 5-star rating. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!